Chapter 3 of Fortnite Battle Royale sees the Imagined Order go to war with the Seven for control of the 0 Point and all versions of reality. The Seven, led by the Foundation, have begun an uprising, inspiring the Loopers to fight and to bring their scattered members back together. But this war will not be easy. IO won't give up. They've controlled the island, the loop, and the bridge for thousands of years. It's time for the first live event of Chapter 3, and here's everything you need to know before collision. To fully understand the mess we found ourselves in, we need to travel back to Chapter 2 and the day Agent Jones abandoned the IO and joined the Seven. Jones, in fear of losing the 0 Point, recalibrated his portal device to bring the Foundation to Reality Zero. After a shaky start, the two worked together to stabilize the Nexus, and after a few more adventures, the two joined forces and flipped the island. Our new home was peaceful and serene for a while, until the day Sloan arrived. Using scouting drills, the Imagined Order ripped through to the topside and began reconnaissance, watching from the shadows, waiting for their time to strike. Around this time, the scientists desperately attempted to reunite the members of the Seven, bringing them together to face this impending threat of IO, but nothing worked. Their infighting and distrust was going to be the downfall of reality.
We are the Seven. We have a duty to rise above grudges and petty disagreements for the greater good. And yes, Foundation, I'm looking at you. I can see your face through that mask.
Without warning, seismic activity could be felt underfoot, and before we knew it, IO had constructed a base like no other. Covert cavern, a hollowed out mountain crammed with everything they could need to seize control of the island. Plus some unexplained secrets behind 50-foot vault doors sealed shut from prying eyes. Sloan, Gunner and the rest of the troops stayed as stealthy as possible and continued to disrupt the island's communications, constantly ruining the scientists' attempts to prepare for war. Monitoring comms, jamming space missions, and removing the Loopers' ability to build. The day Sloan was waiting for finally arrived. IO declared war and the fortress hit the surface. Loopers immediately fought for their new home, and friends from other realities joined the fight too. Seemingly overnight, the Imagined Order seized around 80% of the island. From Tilted Towers to Condo Canyon, the IO flag flew. Controlling the high ground using airships, the war was almost over within a day. Thankfully, a few pockets of resistance stood strong. The Seven's home of Sanctuary remained intact. Well, almost. And the scientists created a new POI, Synapse Station, as a new resistant stronghold. This became a makeshift workshop, repurposing battle bus shells and stolen IO tanks and flipping them to the resistance cause. Another POI held by the Joneses remained under the Seven's watch, but the Jones clones here made a stand. They refused to take part in the war. Only one John Jones still fights to this day. Former IO agent Jones, the same man who started this uprising all those seasons ago. Thankfully, other members of the Seven are now on the island. On day one of the war, both the Origin and the Imagined were on hand to lead the way. The Origin is a skilled tacticianer who is in charge of the Seven's fight back and the military leader of the Loopers. Over weeks and months, he sent us onto the field to disrupt the IO offensive, and slowly we took down the Imagined Order strongholds, replacing their flag with our own.
You did good work today. Reality-saving work, maybe.
The Origin has a secret backstory to uncover, which will explain why he looks the way he does. Before the Origin took his place in the Seven, he was the Cube King. It's true, the Origin was once Cube royalty, leading the cult of the last reality, before we met the Queen in the Chapter 2 finale. The Origin was responsible for the destruction of countless realities, but somehow he was able to disconnect from the hive mind and escape with his life. The ever-watchful Imagined Order took this opportunity to capture the Origin, imprisoning him and extracting information about the power of the cubes. We've seen how Sloan interrogates prisoners. Whilst a prisoner, the Origin shared a cell block with another member of the Seven, the Paradigm. But we'll get back to that very soon. Eventually, the Seven rescued the Origin and offered him a place in their ranks. From that day forward, the Origin vowed to save every world he could and oppose the tyranny of the last reality and the Imagined Order. Two more members of the Seven arrived this season, the sisters named the Imagined and the Order. I'm sure you've noticed they literally have the same name as the bad guys. We may want to watch these two. I mean, if they meet in-game, they say this: "I'm working on our next big heist. I mean military plan." That sounds frighteningly ominous. From day one, the Imagined has done things her own way. She has this uncanny ability to take a solid plan from the Origin or Scientist and improve upon it. Her only problem is, she has no recollection of her past. Her memories are a complete blur.
Truth is, I don't remember anything about my past. At all. But I believe in what the Seven is doing. And I'm here.
She's assisted in the war effort all season, but spends the majority of her time attempting to find out about her own history. At one point, we helped her access the IO database to find more information about herself and her sister. The Imagined is a strong believer in the paradigm. She's aware of her poor reputation, but firmly stands by her friend. And this is the issue we find. The Seven's inability to get along is causing serious issues. There are two major camps in the Resistance: those who want Paradigm to rejoin the group, and those who distrust her and think she is a threat to reality. The Scientist and the Imagined are firmly pro-Paradigm, yet the Foundation and the Origin are unconvinced. Let's try and break down what we know so far. Back to Chapter 1 we go. Before the final showdown, we watched Singularity oversee the creation of the mecha team leader. This was created to protect the island from imminent attack. Since then, it has been confirmed the Paradigm was the pilot of that mech that day, as she's the most skilled aviator in their ranks. We can't 100% confirm this, but it's heavily hinted that Singularity and the Paradigm are the same person, and potentially a double agent. It's highly likely the reason Paradigm is mistrusted by the Seven is due to this choice here: deliberately destabilizing reality and cracking the 0 point in battle. If she was there to protect the orb, why threaten reality by destabilizing it?
The Origin says she's a traitor, but in my opinion, I'd say the evidence is circumstantial at best.
We could argue the rush of energy the mech claimed in that moment was exactly what it needed to defeat the Devourer. Or, on the other hand, that decision is exactly why reality is in danger right now, setting us on a course of events that lead to this very moment. Another theory is that Paradigm is a double agent working for the Imagined Order and the Seven. This has evidence to back it up. When the Origin was captured by the Imagined Order, he grew to know another prisoner in the next cell. That was the Paradigm. One day, the Paradigm escaped her prison cell and left the Origin behind. This feeling of abandonment manifested into distrust. How could a mech pilot break out of a cell he could not?
The Origin is convinced she's a traitor because she broke out of a prison he had to be rescued from. He thinks she had inside help, but he has no proof. Old men and their hunches, I guess. And even if he did have proof, I believe people can change. I have to believe that.
This seed of distrust threatens the unity of the Seven, and this will all come to a head at the next live event, because the mech is being rebuilt as we speak. This is the Seven's last chance to work as a team and save our reality. Which brings us to the Collider. The Imagined Order were winning this war from the first bullet, yet 2 months later they hold on by a thread. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and overnight the Collider rose up. A machine which pulses with seismic energy at regular intervals. Jones, a former IO agent, was able to share information about this POI. This is a doomsday machine.
This will not come as a surprise, but IO management loves doomsday machines. Loves them. There's even a doomsday division at HQ. Oh man, their softball team is awful, but they will one day destroy us all, so kind of a wash.
The Imagined Order are planning to terminate everything in the loop. In our last mission for the Origin, we infiltrated IO's war room and ran a simulation to see what the future holds.
Everything in the loop. Gone. Just like that. I won't watch another world end. We're going to win this.
Agent Jones wasn't done there. His old IO credentials allowed him to delve into classified files. While looking into the Imagined's memory loss, he found this.
When we were looking to the sisters, the less I understand. The Imagine especially seems really into finding old I.O. personnel files. Let's see if we can figure out what she's looking for. Someone else is looking through these files. And judging by what I'm seeing, they're looking at the same data. I'm seeing records for the Foundation, the Origin, the Paradigm, but nothing on the sisters again.
Jones tells us someone has deleted the files on both sisters, the Imagined and the Order, and he even gives us the name of the culprit.
Whoa, Jeno.
This is only the third time we've heard that name.
I can get you to Jeno.
You promised me Jeno.
The live event should finally give us information about the mysterious Jeno and his links to both IO and the Seven.
Whoa, Jeno.
It's time for the final showdown. The Seven have pushed back the Imagined Order, who will make their final stand at the Collider. The Mecha Team leader is officially recommissioned and sits in our lobby screen at a secret moon base. We know the Paradigm will be making improvements to the mech, and maybe some new attire for the Loopers too. On the island, we have many unanswered questions. What is behind the vault doors in the command cavern? Will the drift arm be important to the story? And what about the Devourer's corpse? All this is happening while the Seven continue to bicker about the loyalty of the Paradigm. They may be too distracted to notice the real double cross going on here. Our questions will be answered on June the 4th. I'm Adam, you're awesome. Thanks for watching.